It's about the Republicans in that Senate who are wrapped up with the NRA and all the gun lobbyists and everything else who are afraid. There's 310 million guns in America for 300 million people who are afraid that if they get tough here, that somehow they're going to get knocked out of office because their states love guns.
First Take co-host Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Love guns. Do you think everybody brings up the Second Amendment. What do you think George Washington, Sam Adams, Jefferson, Ben Franklin, what do you think they're thinking about right now? You think they thought this? There was no police. There was no state militia back in 1780 when they did the state Second Amendment. It's not the same thing. This is totally different today. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're going to bring up the Second Amendment, well, I have my right to have guns, and you're going to bring up something that was passed in 1780 and say that applies to today? That is absolutely absurd.
And guess what? He's 100% right on the outdatedness of the Second Amendment.
And the other thing, Abbott, the governor, and again, I played right down the middle. Cruz, that senator. And how about the representative of that community that were in West San Antonio and West Texas? They all voted no on gun control deals in March. They voted no on it. And then Adam yesterday gives me this big deal about how we're heartbroken. Well, you had a chance to do something about it. You did nothing.
It's true. They did absolutely nothing. There's more that I will play momentarily, but first, for Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who has been spewing great replacement theory talking points for years now, Rafael Cruz and the mayor of Uvalde to call Beto O'Rourke an embarrassment for interrupting their putrid little presser where they went up there and lied to families. Shame on them. And now, just days after elementary school children were murdered via the same lax gun laws these ghouls, the anti-pro-life, shameless cowards fought to keep in place, they will be attending the NRA's convention in the very state where those school children were massacred. According to the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, which advocates for gun control and studies gun laws across the country, 7 of the deadliest mass shootings in the history of the U.S. happened in the country over the past decade, and 4 of them, including the Uvalde shooting, happened where? In their freaking state. In the wake of these shootings, Abbott signed a series of bills into law last year designed to further ease access to firearms. He argued that each piece of legislation strengthens the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Among the bills signed by Abbott last year was House Bill 1927, dubbed as constitutional carry by gun rights advocates. The law made it legal for law-abiding Texans to carry handguns without a license or training. The law went into effect on September 1st, 2021. In Texas, you had to be 21 years old to get a license to carry a handgun, but the 2021 amendment made it possible for 18-year-olds like the shooter to receive a license if they meet other requirements other than age and if they are protected under various protective orders, including having been a victim of violence, stalking, or sexual abuse. If I had to give you one guess, take a wild stab at who was celebrating this. Go ahead. That's right, the gun lobbyists and groups, hailing the state's recent laws to loosen gun restrictions, including a measure passed last year authorizing residents to carry handguns without licenses or training. Furthermore, Abbott signaled support for red flag gun laws. Then this happened. He abandoned it completely. The law would authorize police or family members to petition a court for removal of a firearm from someone considered a threat. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, of course a Republican, an adamant gun rights supporter, strongly opposed that measure. And of course, the posturing, the pandering, the pivoting, the dangling some other meaningless thing as a faux pas solution because they are in so deep with the gun lobby is simply what Republicans do when it comes to issues like this.
What they need now more than ever is our love. What they need is uplifting.
Yes. Yes, we need uplifting and prayer and love. You know what I think would uplift me and what I would love? I will pray that you have some sort of backbone to pass some form of legislation so this doesn't happen again. That's what I'd love.
Or the folks who make a big deal, this is about mental illness. Well, how come this doesn't happen in Britain? I was in Ireland. There's no mental illness in Ireland? France, Spain, Germany, Italy. You don't see this happening in those countries because the gun availability is not there. You are not a 15-year-old kid at a boarding school in Britain who can walk into a gun shop and buy 330 magazines and 5 assault weapons. You can in the United States.
In 1996, the country of Scotland saw 16 children and their teacher killed because of gun violence. Incidentally, tennis star Andy Murray was among the children present at the primary school during the massacre, reports CNN. The tennis player, who was just 8 at the time, was walking towards the gymnasium moments before the shooter opened fire. He wrote in his autobiography, Hitting Back. In the wake of the attack in which 16 people were killed, the British government introduced the Firearms Amendment Act in 1988, which made it mandatory to register shotguns and banned all semi-automatic and pump-action weapons. Within a year and a half of the incident, the British Parliament voted for a ban on handguns exceeding .22 caliber. In Australia, a 1996 massacre prompted mandatory gun buybacks that saw, according to some estimates, as many as 1 million firearms melted. The rate of mass shootings plummeted from once every 18 months. So far, only one in the 26 years since. I read this and I ask, what are we doing? Canada also tightened gun laws after a 1989 mass shooting. So did Germany and New Zealand and Norway. It is time. It has been time. We must have change.
I can't look at every computer. I can't look at every social media post. I can't look at every Instagram thing to see what these kids are thinking about. But what I can do, I can limit their ability to obtain weapons. That I can do. And I understand the gun companies in this country don't want that because they make a ton of money when they sell these assault weapons. They say they care, but they don't because they do nothing about it. And listen, I live 20 minutes from Sandy Hook. I was there 5 days later. That is an absolute disgrace that in 9 years we have done nothing. Kurt's right. I got issues with Kurt with other issues. His China thing and everything, I could go on and on. But here he's 100% right. This does not happen in Europe, Japan, China. It does not have Israel. Name the country. It happens here. The United States of America. Because you politicians, in this case, most of them Republicans, and the president, go out there and do something. Let's go. It can't be that hard.